You know my friend Pablo, I saw him last night, and he told me that he needs to hire 3 or 4 people for his little business, the business he's creating, and he told me as well, like, he's afraid because he knows he won't be able to fire those people if he needs it. So at the end, that's the thing. This labor structure in France is so rigid. We need flexibility in this country.
Oh, please stop talking to me about flexibility. Flexibility means insecurity for your employees. I mean, you're seeing this from your friend's perspective, but what about his employees' perspective? I mean, they were getting fired because your friend wasn't able to make his company work. I mean, this law makes employees completely dependent on their bosses.
They will not be dependent. They will not be dependent. They will have the freedom to negotiate their bargaining agreement. They will have the freedom to negotiate with their bosses, the unions.
Please, you and I both know that employees can't defend their interests as well as their bosses can. I mean, they don't have the same qualifications. They don't have the same legal advisors or lawyers. They don't have the same access to the labor law as
we are in the overprotecting country of France. You know, workers will have access to the information and they will learn how to negotiate.
But that's the problem with this law. That's precisely what's wrong with it. It's taking away all the protections and guarantees that we have fought for 50 years ago. It's taking all of that away. I mean, not only will employees work in horrible insecurity because they will be afraid of being fired every second of the day because they can be fired on a whim. But beyond that,
you have this way, it's such a French way of thinking.
No, just let me finish, okay? What I was going to say is that this law instaurs awful working conditions, and I am going to give you one very concrete example, okay? Can we just stop there, because I'm so...
Okay, wait.
I can't feel my fingers. Stop for a second. Okay, so, as I was saying, this law instaurs horrible working conditions. I am going to give you one very concrete example, okay? In France, the law states that for a 24-hour day, the employee has a right, that's mandatory, to 11 hours of rest in a row, okay? Well, this law wants to allow, stop looking at me like that, this law wants to allow employers to dispatch these 11 hours.
Oh, that's a great idea. No, that's perfect.
How is that great?
Because the worker will decide if he needs to rest 11 hours in a row or not.
Come on.
I mean, you're giving him the freedom to choose, and everyone have to be free to choose what they want to do or not.
Someone choose not to rest 11 hours in a row.
Oh, frankly speaking, you have such a French way of thinking, like worker welfare, and not seeing the whole image, the economy, an environment where you can create
excuse
jobs.
us for caring more about people's happiness than the economy. Yeah, you're right.
That happiness is not working. You've had so many unemployed people for years in France, so we need a change.
Okay, so even if the law works the way you say it will, which I doubt, then instead of having unemployed people, we will just have people who are working, but in awful working conditions.
Oh, come on. You know, work has nothing to do with happiness.
Well, I think it does. I think you should be happy at work. You're so utopian.
Work has nothing to do with happiness. And, you know, I didn't know you were so utopic, communist, and left-wing. You know, and you have to think a little bit. In this time in life, it doesn't work that way.
You know what? I don't blame you. I mean, you're American. I don't think your brain can even grasp the concept of actual happiness. I mean, it's very ironic to think how much you people talk about happiness, and yet you seem to have no idea what it is and how to get there.